Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shean Dawson, and I'm the founder and creator of Tutu Moms, I got the name Tutu from my daughter, Deja Dawson. She's the creator of Tutu Love Me, which stands for Teach You to Teach Us, teaching girls how to love themselves through fashion. And then the girls come together as one, they uplift each other. So I figure us women, we need that too. So I just decided to create Tutu Moms. So we can come together, uplift each other, share our story, inspire somebody. Say if I'm going through something and you're going through it, and I share my story with you, I can make your day.
That's right.
So that's why I have you here, Trae, Burgess, Simmons. Maybe you can uplift somebody else's day. Last week sometime, I was on Facebook minding my business, and my sister here, and when I say sister, we always say we're sisters from another mother. We got the same story, but hers went left. Real left. I'm reading on Facebook, and I heard her say, I want to thank God and somebody that helped you go through the process. She has breast cancer. And I known her, we always kept in touch through Facebook because we was going to the same church and we both just stopped going. And for me to see that, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know. Like, you didn't reach out to me. And like I told you, I was pretty hurt because we always was there for one another. You know what I'm saying? So, and I always wanted to start this show so other women can see that if you're going through it, you can uplift them. So I wanted you to be my first guest. So I want to thank you for coming, taking time out, because I know you're about to leave here and you're in a fashion show for breast cancer. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about yourself, Trae.
First
or tell the world, because I ain't know about you.
Okay. First, I want to apologize. When you're going through stuff, you just think it's just you. And first, I want to just start with before the breast cancer, just single motherhood and being absorbed with that and being absorbed with just, day to day. You get lost. You forget about you and you forget about people who really care about you. You just get stuck. And I was stuck. So I started going to school. And all hell always breaks loose when you decide to make a life change. So I had been in school probably about 90 days, and I found a lump previously, and I was able to get insurance. I had started going to a new church, and they knew of a program that gave free mammograms. So I went, had the mammogram. Instantly, I was whisked off to meet a surgeon the same day. She told me it's definitely breast cancer. I didn't have to wait for the pathology because of the size of the lump. She said, but you'll beat it. Don't worry, you'll beat it. And in my mind, I said to her, I have to beat it because I have two children, a 10-year-old Bailey and a 7-year-old Caleb. And like I said, I was a single mom. So long story short, went through the diagnosis. I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. Mine was hormone-based, so which means that my cancer actually feeds on estrogen. So started going through treatment. Originally decided to do a clinical trial, but the medication was too much for me. So, but the clinical trial did work because it minimized the size of my tumor to half in 1 week. Then I started my chemo. I did 7 months of chemo. The first session of chemo is it's called AC. It's very aggressive. It gives you joint pain. It gives you severe nausea, extreme tiredness. And then after I did that for 3 months, then I went on another form of chemo, which was weekly, and it's called tetracycline. And you do it weekly, and it's just not as invasive. You're able to get a little bit of yourself back. Like the original chemo causes you to lose your hair, turns your nails black. Like everything that you think that you are as a woman, cancer takes from you. And even though you may not feel like your breasts are so important, but when you are talking to a doctor about removing your breasts, and as a woman, that's part of your sexuality and you being sensual. So now, and I'm not married. I have a mate, but I'm not married. So in my mind, I'm like, well, is he going to be attracted to me? Am I going to feel sensual? Am I going to want to be sexual? So, cancer really does strip you. And losing your hair, I've grown my hair long, I've cut it all off, so having a short haircut never bothered me. But when my hair started to come out in patches and I had to shave it off, it bothered me. It bothered me a lot. And it took my 10-year-old to tell me, it doesn't matter. Just shave your head, mommy, it doesn't matter. I shaved it. And then for a while I was wearing wigs. But then again, here comes cancer because of the the chemo, you have hot flashes. So you're feeling like you're gonna melt underneath this wig. So finally you're just like, I'm taking the wig off. So now you just rocking a baldy. And thank God I was surrounded by people that constantly had positive things to say. Oh, your hair is so cute. Oh, you look so cute with no hair. You know, oh my God, I wish I could do that. But if within yourself, you're like, really?
Yeah.
I look like a corpse walking. Like, to me, I just looked gray. And, you know, my mate was always positive. He didn't care. You know, it didn't bother him. We would go places and I would feel subconscious. He didn't. You know, he would always rub my head. Like, he never wavered in his being positive. But, you know, cancer is really hard. It's harming your identity as a woman. And especially being a black woman, you have enough stuff weighing on you, you know. So I encourage any woman to just take a moment and really think about yourself. If you're not having, you know, regular visits to your doctor, do so. If you are overweight, start working out and lose the weight. If you are just not healthy emotionally, go to a counselor. Start working on you, because if you're dying, your children are going to be dying. Your circle is going to be dying. So I just really encourage black women to just take a step back and start taking care of you.
Now, I know you say you have a good support system. Your mom.
Yeah, my mom is in the Bahamas. She moved down to take care of my grandmother. And when I tell you that God really works things out, He really does, because my grandmother was a full-time job for my mom. And not to say this in any manner that I was happy about it, my grandmother passed away in March. My mother wanted to come here during that time, but she knew that she couldn't because she took care of her mom. So when her mother passed, she was able to, you know, she had more freedom. So instead of her coming here, she asked that my children go there. So my children now live in the Bahamas. They're doing wonderful.
I would too, all that air out there. I'm not coming back here.
Yeah, and it's great because we have a huge family network there, and here we don't. So now my children really get to see their family. They get to grow up with cousins. They get to grow up with aunties and uncles, stuff that we don't really have here.
Yeah.
So, and my mom, she needed something to occupy her time because she had lost her mom.
Yeah.
So now she's, you know, she's pretty much raising my children, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful.
And I know during the process of, you know, going through the cancer, you also lost.
Yeah, my children's
his
father. Yeah, he that goes back again to taking care of yourself. He knew that he had heart problems. He knew that they had wanted to do a heart replacement. And instead of being completely honest about the situation, they said that a valve needed to be replaced immediately. He lied to me and told me that he had a second opinion and it wasn't necessary. But he died of a major heart attack. They found him dead in his house. And they know it was a heart attack because when they found him, his hands were clenched. And it's sad because he was only 48 years old. And he had just tremendously changed. Once he knew I was sick, he really stepped up as a parent. My daughter really started to, she always wanted a relationship with him, but I think she had settled that she wouldn't have that. But then when he started initiating it, she was excited. My son was excited. And I think the saddest thing I've ever seen was the day of his funeral. You know, she was crying and stuff, but when we went to the grave, and they were burying him, she wouldn't leave the grave. And I was too weak to really I had to get her uncle to lift her up and pull her away from that grave. Because now any chance of relationship is gone. Yeah. And I think that she understood that. And it was hurtful. It was very hurtful. And if he had taken better care of himself, he'd be here.
Yeah.
So I just implore people, and especially men and women, we as a people, we don't take care of ourselves. Okay, yeah, fried chicken is good, but learn how to make baked chicken.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Collard greens is good, but don't make it with pork, make it with turkey. Or how about you don't make it with any meat and do it with onions and garlic? Yeah. Like, we have to change, you know? And we were having a conversation earlier, you and I, about African American women compared to Caucasian women. Caucasian women take care of themselves. Their thought process may be a little bit different from ours, but they are dedicated to themselves. We have to become dedicated to ourselves as a people. Because if not, what are we teaching our kids?
You're right. And I know we was also having a conversation. Your son called you this morning to talk to you, and you had to hang out with them. Explain to me why.
Well, one of the side effects, chemo has a lot of side effects, and I'm just so grateful to the Lord. I didn't have nearly as many as some other people. I was given a medication with my chemo, so I didn't really have nausea. I had heartburn. Heartburn's a small price to pay, but with chemo, sleeplessness is part of it. So it's really hard for you to sleep, and even if you do sleep, you don't stay asleep. You might sleep 2 hours and you're up. Another part of it is with the Herceptin, is the medication that minimizes the hormones in my blood, so my cancer doesn't reoccur. It's joint pain. I'm like an old woman. My knees hurt, my back hurts, my hips hurt. So to the point that my oncologist was saying that I need to start looking into acupuncture, which I'm gonna do. And then also I'm going through reconstruction, breast reconstruction, because I had double mastectomy. And your chest hurts all the time because they literally have placed what's called an expander behind your chest muscle. It's called the I'm sorry, I can't think of the word, but expands your chest muscle. But your chest always hurts. So, and I'm a side sleeper. I like to sleep in fetal position. I can't sleep like that because it just hurts. So it's a lot. And one thing that I've noticed is that your oncologist and your surgeon and your plastic surgeon all tell you that cancer is a journey. And it really is. And for a long time I was very resentful to a statement that people would say that had cancer. You have to find a new normal. How do you find a new normal? Like if you've always done A, B, C, and D and now it's taken from you unwillingly, how do you find a new normal? But you really have to. Like for me, Benadryl is my new normal to sleep. I pop a drink Benadryl, but then you wake up doped up. Yeah. You know? But that's my new normal, to be able to get some sleep. So, small price to pay.
Yeah. And what would you say to another woman that's going through the same thing and she's ready to give up? Because I know it's hard. You know, your life changes. Some days you don't feel like getting up. Some days you feel like it's you against the world. You sometimes, like you said, you didn't know how to reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I read that, I was hurt. Like, oh my God. I called my husband, like, Trae had breast cancer. She ain't let me know. Cause we was always there for each other. In church, we were sisters. And I know we have our own lives. You know what I'm saying? You know, you live in Bordentown, now I'm here in Wellingboro. And I was like, Dad, she could have reached out. Because, you know, I'd have been there. That's what we do. We always have been. So, you know, what would you tell another woman that's going through the same, that feel like she can't go to someone? You don't want to be a burden. And that's what you probably thought you would have been, because I have a family, this and that. But it wouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I would have been in through thick and thin, because that's how it should be. That's what I believe in. That's why I created Tutu Moms. You know what I'm saying? To be there for each other, uplift each other. A lot of people can't do that. Us as women, we downgrade each other, look at each other up and down, not knowing our story, how we got to where we get.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And
that's right.
So what would you say? When somebody feel like giving up, she can't do it.
First of all, you cannot give up, especially if you have a child. For you to give up is the most selfish act. You brought this child in the world. They didn't ask to come here. You got pregnant. You birthed this baby. You have to stay. You have to stay. Whether it's an adult child or a small child, you have to stay. Because if you give up, what are you teaching that child? Giving up is an option. It's not. Second of all, just make up in your mind that no matter hell or high water, you are going to beat your cancer. And it may not be an easy stretch. You may have reoccurrences. I have a girlfriend now. She's on her third reoccurrence of cancer, and she's 33 years old. That's horrible. It's horrible. I invited her. We had a breast cancer walk, and they wanted to honor her as a survivor. She called me. She said, I can't come because I'm not a survivor. I said, but you are. You are a survivor. You beat it twice already. Okay, it's back. You can't give up. You just have to. You have to push. But one thing I will say is, don't be secretive. Don't be ashamed. You know, like, cancer is no different than a cold. You caught it, and you have to deal with the consequences of it, or the symptoms of it, and the medication of it. But it's not a death sentence. It's not you deserved it. It's none of that. And honestly, once you open your mouth and you tell people, you'll be shocked how many survivors are already in your circle that you don't know about, because everyone wants to be quiet, and it's time out for being quiet. Enough is enough. And honestly, if we stay silent, we're gonna die. Like, we have to talk about it. We have to, you know, a perfect example. I just recently joined another clinical trial for Black women, and it was just a questionnaire about the products that we use, nail polish and hair products and shampoos and different stuff. I did that because I have a 10-year-old, and I don't ever want her to have to deal with this. And breast cancer does not run in my family. I do not have the genetics gene for it. I've had the test, so for me to get it at 39 is shocking. And the doctors already said how young I am. But I'm not going to let it rob me, and I'm not going to let it rob my daughter.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for this interview. I know you have to go because you're in a fashion show leaving here.
Yeah.
And that's in regarding?
Yeah. It's a hair show, fashion show for breast cancer. The creator is, I think she lost her sister to breast cancer. And she got in touch with a friend of mine who just went through the same process. She has a double mastectomy, but she's not eligible for reconstruction for a year. That's another thing too. When you have a feeling about something, don't negate your feeling. Don't, we all have a voice that speaks to us, and sometimes we shut it up. Don't shut it up. My girlfriend had bad feelings about the radiation, kept going because the doctor told her that she had to go. Now she has second-degree burns, and she can't get reconstruction for a year. I cannot imagine being a woman, and she's 41 years old, and she's in a relationship. But again, it does come up about feeling pretty or feeling sexual, feeling sensual. She doesn't have breasts. Her chest is completely flat, and she has to deal with that because she didn't speak up about the radiation. So whatever kind of treatment that you have or you're going through, and you have a funny feeling about it, like my oncologist wants me to meet with the radio oncologist. I'm gonna meet, but radiation is not even an option. I've already said it. It's not gonna happen. They work for you. You don't work for them. And you have the right to advocate for yourself. And that's in every area of your life. Your children, your family, yourself. So just advocate for yourself.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you for sharing it. And hopefully you inspire somebody that's going through it. It may not be breast cancer. It can be
breast self-exams.
Any kind of cancer, because I know it's hard. So I want to thank you again, and I love you. And like always, we're here. I'm here for you. Please call on me, all that good stuff.
I know.
And I love you.
I love you too.